years at this point. I've kind of lost count. And I'm always looking for new ways to spice things up during our nightly routine and our alone time. And having Tipsy has given me so many tips and tricks and new ideas from these stories that I'm listening to. And I know not only is it helping me it's so hard to realize that you and your friend are on different levels now, and that, you know, your friendship might not be what it once was as you grow as a person. As you age and mature, go through things in life, it is going to mold you into the person that you are. For me, I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. I'm just not. Like, I'm not. So some of the people that were in my life at that time are not in my life now, a majority of them. And I needed to cut them out for reasons of me getting my life together and having to not be around people, places, and things that were going to suck me in or bring me down or tempt me to do the wrong thing. Plus, when you go through things in life, real life stuff, you quickly realize who's there for you and who isn't, and you weed out the people who aren't, because if they're not there for you in the bad times, they don't need to be there for you in the good times, baby. Okay? But I know it's a hard conclusion to come to. Trust me. But if you two are so different and don't have much in common anymore, which that has happened to me, you don't necessarily need to totally end the friendship, but take a step back, you know. That step back might be already happening authentically, and if it is, it's for a reason. If you are feeling like, you know, you two just aren't on the same level anymore, and chances are they're feeling that as well. And it's not like you're being like a mean person and just like ghosting this friend. That's not the case. So don't feel bad about it. This is something, I mean, don't feel bad like you're doing something wrong, 'cause you're not. Feel bad, you know, if you want to feel the motions of going through a friendship that's no longer, like, obviously that's gonna hurt, right? Especially if it's like a lifelong friend, it's going to sting. I'm not going to lie to you, but you will get past it, and you will find people in your life as you grow that are going to just fit better into the life that you're living now. So, I hope that helped. Just maybe take a step back and let it run its course and see what happens. The next one's really good. How to get my sex drive back. I'm 26, no kids, and I have a boyfriend. I find myself struggling with this. It's so funny. Well, it's not funny, but the way this person wrote this, they used capital, like a lot of capitals in the sentence, and that's how one of my best friends types everything out. So I looked at the screen name like Girls at You. But this, I feel like so many people go through, dealing with, you know, the loss of your sex drive, and sometimes it's because of trauma, which for me, I believe, you know, I went through that as well, and I think it was because of trauma, unfortunately. And if it is because of trauma, I would suggest getting counseling and talking through it with a professional, because that's something that I need to do. Something I definitely need to do. My sex drive isn't 100% where it needs to be. I'll be 100% honest with you. You guys know I'm an open book. I dealt with some things and I kind of tucked it down very far because I was a mom and I'm dealing with so many other things. It's like, when do you have time to deal with important stuff, right? No. But it seems like there's just not enough time in a day, especially if you're a mother, because you are caring for somebody else. it used to. And sometimes we don't want to see that, right? Because we're comfortable with that person and it's uncomfortable. A lot of people are uncomfortable with change and realizing, like, hey, maybe I'm not in love with my husband anymore. Maybe I'm not in love with my boyfriend anymore. But, like, this one girl I know, she was with her husband. She had 4 kids, and she said she don't want to be touched. She thought, like, there was no way her love language was physical touch, that she just, it felt like a forced thing to have sex with her significant other. And she realized that she liked girls, and misses like him, or if she just misses the relationship that they once had. Do you know? I don't know if she just misses the companionship with somebody, if that makes sense. And obviously it's going to be him because that's the last person she was with. She was comfortable with him. So, no, she hasn't gone back, but I couldn't tell you that she wouldn't if she was given the opportunity to. She probably crazy physical attraction, and we just, we got to know each other in a very short period of time, and we started dating like 2 weeks later, and it didn't work out because geographic issues. We were living 2 different lives, and it just didn't work out. But like I said, we're still friends, and that's because we where you're happy and like, you know what, I just did all this schooling and I don't know if I want to do this. I'm telling you right now, you know, think it through. Really give it time and think it through. These are big decisions, but they're your decisions. I left a job that was very high paying, had great benefits, and I walked away from it when other people thought I was crazy. Very hard job to get at the time. Everybody was like, "You're nuts. Like, what do you mean you're leaving?" I left because I wasn't happy in the job, and I struggled for a couple months until I got into what I'm doing now. But it's like I wasn't feeling fulfilled. I wasn't feeling happy. I dreaded going to work. I just knew that's not what I wanted to do. And it's like, I'm not going to continue wasting time. And, you know, we spend like half of our lives at work. We don't. If you are able to change what you're doing, do it. I say do it. Life's too short. Life is too short. It's like you wake up one day, you know, you go to sleep 12 years old, and you wake up 30. It's like snap of a finger, baby. And we all are going to go through it. All of us are going to get old, and you know, life goes by very quickly. So do what makes you happy. Money is not everything. Health is number one, happiness number two, and number three is, you know, career. But, you know, do what makes you happy. Do what makes you happy. Guys, there's so many good questions. I wish I could get to everybody's. Someone asked about addiction and asked, let me read the exact question so I don't get it wrong. Okay. What is your best advice for a recovering drug user? I used to do many drugs, and for a while I've been sober, but only because I am stuck in my mom's house and honestly can't help but only think about finding something to get me to feel the way I used to. I'm sorry that you are going through that, number one. Number two, you're not alone. So many people do, unfortunately. And I'm going to be talking about it a little bit more. There's a pandemic, two pandemics going on. Addiction is a huge issue in America, and not only America, but all around the world. And unfortunately, right now, other things are foreshadowing it, and it's not being talked about the way it needs to be. It's getting like thrown under the rug, and there's, you know, big issues at hand. So many people losing their lives. It's very sad. But my best advice for you would be to get out and do things, because if you are in early recovery and you have too much idle time on your hands, just sitting at your mom's house, I'm going to be blunt with you, because there's no time to mess with addiction, okay? Because 1 minute to the next, you can go from being sober to being not here anymore. So you need to fill your days with things. I don't care if it's taking walks all day long around, you know, the blocks in your neighborhood. You need to do something. They say that idle time is the devil's playground, and if you have too much time on your hands, especially when you're in recovery, your mind has nothing to do but think of thoughts like you just said. You were thinking about finding something to get you to feel the way you used to. When you start feeling like that, this is what I did. I want you to think of all of the pain that you went through because of addiction, and all fast life. He was used to fast moving New York. And his friends and just the food and everything. All the things that we love about New York. And now you couldn't pay him to move back. He's adjusted and he loves it there. So I know that it is going to be an adjustment for me, but I know I've been there multiple times to visit my family, and I feel very comfortable there. I know the streets because I, drive around when I'm down there. I know the neighborhoods, and I'm just most anxious about the moving process, the packing, the driving 14 hours with my child in the car, hiring movers, and the closing of the house, and all of the logistics of it. That's what I'm nervous about, more than like the adjustment of being there. I'm gonna be so busy getting my new home ready and decorating it and unpacking and stuff that the first couple weeks I'm gonna be very occupied. So I think that'll help a lot. But thank you everybody for your kind questions. Thanks for hanging out with me. Hit the like button if you want me to do a part 2 and answer more of these really good questions. Thank you for everybody who participated and asked a question. You guys know I would absolutely go through and answer all of these, but there's like 300